Hey guys, this is Bridget and I'm so excited to be doing this video. We're going to be talking about organic, natural fiber, eco-clothing. Okay, it's a big one. It's like the next step to eating organic food. It's kind of, you have to transition this. And it's big and there's lots of different things to it, and so it's really fun, so let's dive in. So firstly, did you ever think that clothes could actually heal you? There's an actual Ayurvedic offshoot, which is Indian medicine from over 5,000 years ago, an ancient practice called Aravastra, which is using plant-based materials and dyeing them with natural, beautiful plant fibers and plant dyes and putting them on the skin to where they actually heal ailments and soothe the nervous system and all different kinds of things. So on one side of the spectrum, clothing and putting fabrics directly on the skin can actually heal us. So what is actually happening when we're putting petroleum-based clothes on us every day, every night? You know, it's not going to be good. So originally clothes were healing for us and natural. Starting in the 1920s, moving all the way through World War II, was the invent of petroleum-based fabrics, such as polyester, nylon, spandex, acrylic, all those kinds of things that have now just pretty much taken up most of the clothing that we wear. And it's petroleum-based, which means it's toxic. It's chemicals. It's like putting gasoline on your skin. And the skin is the biggest organ in the body, which means that it absorbs whatever's put on it, whether like we're showering in certain water or whether we're wearing certain clothes. Now the skin also is the way that we release toxins. So okay, it's one thing to be absorbing, toxins through clothing, but it's another thing that if you can't actually breathe it to release the toxins that are already in the body. So this is what wearing natural plant-based fibers does for us, is it allows the breathability of good things to come in and also the icky things and the natural detox process of the body to take place. So it's highly significant, it's highly beneficial, it's the next step to health, vitality, immunity, all different kinds of things. And 4/5 of our clothing here in the US and various places are actually coming in from China, and they use formaldehyde and crazy chemicals, and it's radiated and all these types of things, and most of our clothing is coming from there, which causes, and sometimes we again can't correlate where the origin is, but it does correlate to asthma, to headaches, to even certain cancers. So just one thing at a time, because some of the time when you get this kind of information, it's like, oh no, not another thing. But the most important thing is to realize that it's one thing at a time, okay? As we just like transition the food, transition the clothes, and over the years, then all of a sudden, say like 5 years from now, you'll be like thriving in this Wi-Fi free environment and nature and these healthy clothes and stuff. So it's just taking one step at a time. So I'm going to give you a little bit of detail of how I got into this, which can be significant, and then also get into all the different natural fibers that you can utilize as possibilities, knowing the benefits and also the negative sides of each of them, as well as the companies and different clothing that you can buy that is serving to assist the world right now, and it's kind of like a donation. So we're going to get all into that throughout this video. So first and foremost, how in the heck did I get into this subject? Because I'm kind of deep in it and I'm quite passionate about it. So I think it was over 6 years now, I was doing my first cleanse. And in that cleanse, I had some lymph stagnation. And then I went into all of the research about the breasts, which you can go see that breast video, awesome information there. And also then that got into clothing, and that got into fibers, and then I just go down the rabbit hole and all of a sudden find out that everything that I was wearing was toxic. And at the time I was just leaving LA, and I had like 9 giant bags of expensive and nice and cute clothes and 20 pairs of shoes and stilettos and just all of the like girl stuff, And at that time, after I read this research, I was like, not for the environment, not for my health, And I gave away and donated about 95% of my clothes at that time. And at the time I was doing this, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna need something to wear. Or not, but yeah, I want something to wear. And so I reached out to all the eco-clothing companies at that time, and they helped fill up my closets. So it was an amazing trade and really supportive. And so I've been wearing these clothes for over 5 years now. So I have like experience of what it feels like to do that, what it feels like not to do that. And that's where it gets kind of interesting, actually, is definitely the breathability and just the comfort. And there's actual consciousness, there's actual connection in these different fibers, and of course the dyes that actually, it's subtle, you wouldn't even notice until you start to become acclimated to this certain energy. And it became more apparent as certain people would, accidentally, not knowing that I was into this, gift me some polyester thing for my birthday or Christmas, and I would be like, okay, well, let's try it. Let's wear this shirt, this polyester shirt, and see what happens. And it wasn't even placebo. I would just start like itching and getting kind of like a rash, or I would just not be able to breathe, and I could feel the toxicity, and so I just couldn't even wear it. It was sad. And the cool insight that I found during this, which I've never heard anyone talk about, is that when you're washing and drying your clothes, they're all plant-based, they don't get very much static electricity at all. Static electricity is a positive charge, which actually is an imbalance, is very inflammatory to the body. So there's not that, especially in the fall, when there's a lot of static electricity in your clothes and the air, and you touch the car and you get shocked, that whole thing. Static electricity is very much associated to lowering the immune system. So when you get that static electricity and it's that positive charge, it's like, poof, and it lowers the immune system. So when I would have in random batches of clothing this polyester or these different synthetic materials, just one shirt or like one pair of pants or something like that, it would make the whole batch staticky. And so I feel a direct correlation between synthetic fibers and the lowering of the immune system. So there's a lot of different reasons why it's beneficial, and those are some of my experiences and why I've gotten into it, and it's just amazing. It's just nourishing. So I'm going to get now into the different fiber possibilities as to what you have available to wear. Now, these are fabrics. They have been around for millennia. This isn't something new at all. It's crazy how in just 1 to 2 generations we can just forget how to ferment food and forget how to like wear proper clothing, and these things change. So it's really just taking a few steps back and then going, oh, okay, this is what is most in alignment with my body, with my health, with my consciousness. So my favorite fabric of all is hemp. Hemp's amazing. It uses half as much water as growing cotton, and it grows much more quickly. It has 200% more yield of the usable fiber of the plant, so you're getting much more for it. It's antibacterial, it's antifungal. So in places of mold, such as Hawaii, where I've been, I got to experiment with this in the rainforest and see if it actually was true. And I have to say that the hemp clothes had a much longer ability of longevity, to where some of our clothes would actually mold and go bad and wouldn't even work. My hemp ones stayed good, which was incredible. And in those moments where it was getting that like musty scent because of the humidity, it would actually not smell either. So it was incredible how that worked. Now these fibers too, they last. They're long lasting. They're not like Forever 21. You bought it for $5 from a sweatshop in China with all these synthetic dyes, and you throw it away after 2 washes because it gets holes in it. I mean, that's stupid, right? That's like one-use plastic. It's just not a good idea. These things, we need longevity. Different companies of these brands have different, I think, abilities of longevity because of the different ways that they sew and the different fabrics they use. So I list that in my blog of like, okay, these ones they're a little bit less expensive, but they don't last as long, but they're still the good fibers, so we can go into that. So hemp is my number one, and especially here in America where it's becoming hyper legalized, and the marijuana ganja community economy is changing so much. it's amazing because that provides the opportunity to grow hemp, which we can use for so many things, and we used to. So I'm really excited about this as it continues, because most of the hemp right now is coming from Canada and China. So the second natural fiber that I'm going to talk about is bamboo. Now, bamboo is not the best, okay? It does grow incredibly fast. It doesn't require much water, but the processing for it to be able to turn into a fiber does require a lot of chemicals. And some of the companies that make bamboo things, they don't reuse them, the chemicals, as much as they can, to where then they're releasing a very little amount into nature. They kind of just pour it out and spill it. So there's a lot of more chemicals used in the processing of it. Now, I haven't experienced any like allergenic responses to bamboo, so I think a lot of those wash out after they're done. But still, I mean, what I'm into is that it's a benefit for all. It's a benefit for our health. It's a benefit for Gaia's health, for Earth's health. So bamboo is great as far as a transitionary fabric, and I think that it's just great to expand the mind. And of course, the feel of fabric, of the bamboo fabric, is incredible. It's so soft and so amazing. So it's good if you're transitioning and you just need that experience of luxury, especially for like bamboo sheets or something, but ideally not doing too much of it. And as you go into these different things, it's going to be fun, because it's like you have a little repertoire in your closet of like, okay, I have my hemp shirt, I have my bamboo shirt, I have my organic cotton shirt, and it's just really actually quite fun to play with plants. Like, it's plant medicine, you know? And one of the other, this is an interjection, fabrics that they've been making out of is eucalyptus. So this is a eucalyptus shirt. It's incredibly soft again, but again, it takes a lot of chemicals to make it processed. But I wanted to show you what the Aryavatra process is. So Sunny Savage, my friend in Maui, and I'll put her link in, she does natural dyeing with these natural fibers. And so you can see here, it's pretty bright, so you can't see that this is an actual natural indigo dye that we went and collected and wild harvested, and then dyed the shirt out of. And then the yellow that you see is actually turmeric. And so wearing this without washing it, actually for about 10 times when you're not sweaty and gross, has been really nourishing. Like, there's an actual energetic transmission. So this is the extent that it can go to. And I've been doing this with my organic hemp cotton swimsuit. And I dyed it with the indigo, and it's faded a bit now, but I'm actually going to take wild blackberries from here in Sedona and dye it again, a bit of like a purpley blue, and see what happens. So it's this process and this continual reconnection with nature, and it's also this like recycling of its vibrancy, you know, rather than it's like, oh, it's out, throw it out. It's like continuing to give to it, and then it gives back, and there is consciousness to it in clothing. So the next natural fiber is cotton. Of course, we all know cotton, and cotton is beautiful, it's magical, it's wonderful. It takes a lot more water. So that's one of the disadvantages. And actually, if it's not organic cotton, 1/4 to 1/2 of all the pesticides used in the world are for cotton. That is a pretty profound statistic. So anytime that you are buying something that's just like a cotton shirt that's not organic, you're contributing very much so to the pesticides and the toxicity of the world and your body. So I find that pretty interesting. Like, these things we just don't know, you know? And this is cotton, and this is beautiful. This is from a company that I really love called Groceries. Now, this is where I like to get into the nuances of how these different companies are really doing the work for us, because the dyes can be toxic as well. And then it's like, is it from slave labor? Is it, you know, all these different things. And so, for instance, Groceries apparel, they make it in the U.S. in Los Angeles. I've actually been to their factory there 5 years ago. It's amazing, and they're using organic cotton from America. And there's only 10,000 acres in America dedicated to the growth of organic cotton, which is crazy. right? And so these companies, like, I really love them. They're of service, you know, and so much of what we think of as profit-based is like negative, and so you have to be a non-profit to actually be doing something good for the world, but that's not the case. And that's what I love about the modeling and like the intention behind these companies. They're like trying to compete, like, right, with Forever 21. And they've done such an amazing job of getting the prices down to where they're not too expensive. The quality is still high, like the integrity is there, and the cuts and the colors also have really expanded. Like 5 years ago, it wasn't as good, and there was no pink. There was no pink. It was like all these natural earth tones, and that's where the association with like the hippie wearing like some hemp outfit comes in. But now it's really, really expanded, and you can get expensive, you know, eco kind of stuff, but you can get it affordably too. But it's great. I love it so much. So some of the other fabrics. Now, flax. Okay, flax? What? How do you make flax into a fabric? Linen. What? And this stuff just kind of blows me away. So this is very common, obviously, in Europe. So Northern Europe, Eastern Europe, this creation of linen. And linen is gorgeous. It's beautiful and a really great solution. And of course, as far as the animals go, you've got alpaca, you've got wool. I definitely am into the good treatment of the animals, and of course not cutting down forests to create these animals for it. But where it is needed, especially in cold climates, I think that it's a great opportunity. And as I've gone into these fabrics for like cold climates, you kind of need those. So that's a good opportunity, and just looking for the best companies for that is really important. You got nettles. Yeah, stinging nettles. You can actually make fabric out of it. Go YouTube like the guy that does it. It's amazing. And silk. Now, silk is from a worm, so it's actually can be done in not so beneficial ways, but as far as the fabric for us, it's very nourishing and very beautiful. And now the idea of recycled and upcycled, because there's this new trend, which is cool. I'm fine with the idea that like bamboo and like recycled plastic bottle yoga pants is becoming very popular. Okay, cool, that's great. Like, you're reusing it. But the thing is it's still estrogenic, petroleum-based fabric. So you're not getting away from the health detriment there. You're helping the environment, but not your body, right? Not the health. So I would just, you can do it, but it's one of those things that if you're going for the pure health, then you probably don't want to do the upcycling and recycling. And this is where the transition comes in. So it's like, okay, where do I start? Because I've got my whole closet, I've got all this stuff. The place to start, in my opinion, is with bra and underwear. So boxers or for men, whatever. Because that is the closest to the private parts that you've seen my bra video, so you know why for the breasts. But definitely the private parts, you don't want toxins going into those areas. So that would be first. My second would be, it's a tie between bedding, actually, and curtains in your environment. Because if you're sleeping 8 hours a night and you're breathing in your comforter, your pillow, your pillowcases, your curtains, that's a lot of time to be breathing in those different chemicals. And that's where the linens really come in. And I love these curtains I got actually from this linen company in Eastern Europe, and I'll put the link from them. They're amazing, because what happened is when I moved to Hawaii and like we needed curtains for the house, the only place that's not ridiculously expensive was like Target. And so we got some curtains, and I was like, no, I don't want to. And so we did it, and I was like, okay. And I sat with them for a few nights and slept with them, and it was so toxic that I couldn't even be in the room. So I had to call this company to have them help me get some curtains so I could sleep in my room. So I encourage you to switch out the bedding as you can, and then to switch out the workouts. So that's the other tie, is with your workout gear, because like I said in the detox video I did, is you're opening your pores to let out that detoxification. So if you have synthetic yoga pants and yoga bra or whatever you're wearing, and it's going back into the skin, you're defeating part of the purpose of the excretion and sweating and detoxification process. So that would be my second. And then third, just your everyday wear. Now, the good thing about cotton, I wanted to add this in, is that cotton, after 2 to 3 washes, will wash out the pesticides and the different chemicals that were used in the growth of the cotton. So you'll be in a better position once it has a few washes. So if you're like, oh crap, I have to throw away everything in my closet, at least you can keep the cotton you already do have. And then in the future buy organic cotton. So that is something that you can keep in your closet, so that's a good thing. So there's a lot to this. It's really fun actually, and we have so many great options right now. And so just take it one step at a time, one item of clothing at a time, one throwing away, one adding back in, or one donating, whatever it looks like, and just knowing that this is a next upgrade in your health, in your vibration, and assisting the planet. So that's my download for now. I have my blog, which has much more extensive details as to the information on these subjects, as well as all of my favorite companies that have helped me throughout the years to achieve this goal, as well as the different companies that just have more variety as well, that might not be as good a quality or cheaper or whatever. I'm just going to put everything in there so that you can have a lot of options to whatever you're wanting to do right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is so fun, and I will definitely see you next week with another video. Please comment and like. I want to know if you guys have already gotten on this, transitioned, where you're going to start, because it's a fun transition. And if you like videos like this, please subscribe, and definitely check me out on Instagram for more daily updates. I'll have the link in the comments so that you can go check me out there, and I will see you next week with another video.